Well, greetings once again from All Souls. For those of you who have the privilege of being parents or have at some point in your life been parents or looked after small little ones, you will know what I'm about to say is true. The day in which during the holidays when somebody comes to you and says, "Mom" or "Dad, I'm bored," is a devastating day for that parent. I come to you this morning on the, I think, 5th day of our enforced quarantine, our lockdown here in South Africa. And it may well be that for you and perhaps for your family, that the novelty of this is beginning to wear down, that you're beginning to encounter the challenges of finding yourself locked down, of being isolated, and of running out of things to do. I just wanted to share with you perhaps one little helpful thing, and it's a reminder, I guess, of the call for us to have a rule of life. About 2 years ago it was now, here at All Souls, we had what I thought was a really interesting Lent course, which looked a little bit at the life of St. Benedict, or Ben as we came to know him. And at the heart of his life, and his life as part of a community, was the call for us to have a rule of life. In other words, to have something structured in your life to help you to keep a balance and to make sure that your priorities continue to be observed in the somewhat unusual environment of being locked down and isolated. You remember the first area that Benedict emphasized in our course, certainly, was the idea of having time in the refectory. The refectory was the place of eating, it was the place of hospitality. It was the place where people in community connected with each other, where they shared the meal, but not just the meal, but they shared something of their own lives, of their thoughts, of their hearts. It's really important for us in our lockdown to continue to communicate. If we're together as a family, then it's important for us to spend time together. And that might be in playing games or being creative together, but don't underestimate the power of the discipline, the routine of sitting down and enjoying a meal together, breaking bread, of sharing thoughts, even if they are thoughts of anxiety or of your fears, opening our hearts to each other. If you're alone, then you need to make sure that you are still connecting with people beyond your home in some of the creative ways that we now have electronically. The second area that Benedict emphasized was the library. And the library is a place of growth. It's a place for growing in our own minds. It's slightly self-centered in a way, in that it calls us to spend time on our own, to read, to do creative things that help us to stimulate our minds. That might be for you to paint or to compose, writing of some description. But mainly it's going to be to just simply read, to watch useful things perhaps on television, but to feed your minds. Very, very important. We can so easily allow our minds to go fallow at a time like this. What a privilege to have the time to catch up on the reading and the things that we yearn to do at other times of our lives but can't. The third area that Benedict emphasized was the chapel. And I think that this is really the key to our lives as Christians during lockdown, is for us to spend time in worship, time in prayer. And it requires sometimes for us to establish a routine, a discipline, because so easily it can be pushed to the side, or we can say, "Oh, I'll get to that at some point." And I'm grateful that we at All Souls can offer the links on YouTube, so please do subscribe if you haven't already, and so that you can enjoy worship on a Sunday and the few other resources that we're offering. But that's not to take away from the opportunity that we have as individuals to simply take some quiet and to be in an attitude of prayer. Not just praying out for the needs of others and ourselves, but to be entering into a time of listening prayer, this could be the most important thing that comes out of this lockdown, is that this is an opportunity for us to hear the voice of the Spirit speaking to us as Christians. So what a privilege, again, for us to have time to sit and to listen and to pray. The final area that Benedict emphasized in that course was the marketplace. And we can't literally go out into the marketplace at this time. I would that we could, but we can't and we mustn't. But there are other ways. The marketplace was a place in which we could engage with others and with the needs of others. And so I want to encourage you that whatever you do in your day, that you keep a balance between looking after yourself, your family, and also keeping your mind focused on people outside of your group, outside of your home. That you think of creative ways in which you can be an encourager, a source of wisdom and of kindness to those around you. And as I say, again, we have so many tools, telephones and Facebook and social media, in which we can keep in contact and we can do the small things of kindness. What about looking after your neighbor or ordering some food online for somebody who may be in need and just having it delivered to their home? There are lots of things that we can still do with a bit of creativity. Can I just add one little one little thing that I think we must all take into consideration during these days of lockdown? That it is very easy for us just to simply sit and watch television all day, or simply for us to constantly have our face buried in Facebook or other social media. That's not what a rule of life is about. We need to be cautious that we don't spend too much of our time buried in one thing. And in these days, there is so much unhealthy things coming through on social media. Please be aware and cautious about what you watch, and particularly about what you pass on. If you are wanting to be a source of encouragement, this may not be the time for you to pass on all of the conspiracy theories that you read in a particular day, or that you jump to conclusions when medical people have not given the go-ahead to suggest something, but you've read it on Facebook, therefore it must be true. Just be cautious of how you connect, because the way that you pass things on may not be the loving thing that you intend. I think that's about all for the moment. Please do follow our links that I'm going to include below or in our newsletters and other things that we're sending out. Please stay well, introduce your rule of life, keep a balance, be intentional, and may God bless you. Amen.